Oh, hello.
Oh, hello. Welcome to Left and Correct.
The only podcast where both of us are left,
But
but
only
only
one
one
of
of
us is
us.
correct.
Yes. And today
But
is a very
today,
special,
super special day
super
because
special day.
maybe three people could be correct, or three people could be incorrect, or two
Or,
people could be correct, and one person could be incorrect. I think that's the amount of matrices of potential options we have.
yes. In our wonderful triad today, we have our very first official guest. I know we've had some discussions with, political pundits back in the day, like when we
New
were in
York
Las
Times,
Vegas,
Times,
the New York
yeah, Las Vegas.
Times,
Oh, when
James
we were in,
Carville came
yeah,
on, that all those different times. But here over Zoom, we have our first guest, Miss Lori Steele, everybody.
I am the first guest. You
yes.
know why?
Yes.
You know why? Because I'm from Delaware. First state, first guest. There we go.
There you go.
There we go.
So does that mean that Joe Biden's your neighbor?
Yeah, he really is. He's like he's
Yeah.
literally 3 miles away from me.
Oh no!
I should have. You know what? If I had a friend, if we ever do this again, I'll have him drive, and we'll take the car and we'll drive by and we'll wave.
We will get arrested so fast. We will get arrested immediately.
No. You can drive by. You just can't drive like on the property. There's news cameras out there. There's news cameras out there right now. Like literally, we could. Yeah.
Okay, we could do a left and correct where like we can like go there and do
Hold
like
on.
sneak up, and we can like get in the basement and do a live broadcast from the basement.
We could.
I mean, that'd be brilliant. I mean,
Right?
he doesn't know who anyone is, so he'd probably just assume we were real reporters.
Well, he might know me because in Delaware, everybody knows everybody. So
Ooh!
he'd be like, "Hey, Lori Steele."
You know Joe Biden, Lori? Is that what you're saying?
Everybody knows him. Everybody knows him. Like he would just like, "Hey," I was like, "How do you even know me?" He goes, "I know. It's Delaware. I know everybody." There is a joke actually on Twitter that in Delaware, if you're driving down the highway, someone next to you is either a friend from middle school or Joe Biden.
I was on a train with Joe Biden once.
You told me, and I said it's real. It's real. It
is real. Like his whole, for those who don't know, his whole shtick was like, I take the Amtrak every day, and I live in Boston. I take the Amtrak train from New York to Boston when I go home, and there's gonna come a time where you take Amtrak often enough, you will run into Joe Biden, and it happened. It was very strange.
And he waved to you, and he said, "Tell Lori Steele I said hi." And you're like, "How do you know her?
How do you know her?" That was like,
"I'm from Delaware."
Delaware. It's very weird.
That's very weird. So you're in Delaware now permanently, or just for COVID times?
I came back in 2016. New York burned me out. And my folks were, a little not doing well. And I'm not coming. I don't think I'll come back to New York. It's real chill here. And New York's only like an hour and a half away on the Amtrak.
Oh.
So I got to plug Amtrak now.
Our sponsors.
Our sponsors are Amtrak. I am. I'm in Wilmington, North Wilmington.
Yeah. What do you do out there in Wilmington?
I do freelance work. I do like online. Now it's like very slow, a lot of clerical stuff and things like that. And I worked on a political campaign down here in 2018. So that was
who'd
good.
You work on?
It was Rachel Blumenfeld. She didn't make the primary. They were both great ladies. One was a lawyer. She was a teacher. It was a good experience. It was a really good experience. Yeah.
So you pay a lot of attention to politics, I'm guessing.
A little too much. Like today, what is it? The VP? Oh my goodness! Oh God!
They haven't announced yet, right?
No,
at least I didn't hear.
But now with all the stuff and like this one loves Scientology, and the other one's still a cop, and I forget. Oh, Susan Rice, and now it's like, oh, it must be Val. No one's talking about it. I'm like, okay, sure, we're not going to know.
This is the weirdest. It's. Like, this is the part of, like, when we look back at the 2020 campaign, we're like, this is the Bachelor right now, right? Mm-hmm. Like, who is Joe going to give the rose to? And it's like, you have, now it seems to be Kamala Harris, Susan Rice, or Karen Bass. Yesterday on Meet the Press, Karen Bass was on, and was it Meet the Press? I think it was. And
I
immediately,
didn't see it, but go ahead. Yeah.
Immediately, it was just like, you went to Cuba in the 70s. And she's like, yes, so did many Americans
in the 70s. Who didn't?
Like, I helped build houses. Lots of Americans did. And, she's a representative of California. So then when Fidel Castro died, like, she said something to the effect of, the people of Cuba, blah, 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 which obviously pisses people off because Castro is such a touchy subject. Like, you can never just say, yeah.
Wait a minute, but is this, to me, that was just like, okay, so Bernie went to Russia on his honeymoon. So obviously,
right, right.
Come on.
Well, it's just nobody can ever drop the Cold War narrative. I mean, we've got all these dinosaurs still in media, still in government, and they live off this Cold War because they love having a big bad guy. It's very useful for whatever angle you're going for.
Yes. Well, now it's
the idea that Cuba is relevant to anything is so bonkers, though.
But it is for the people of Florida. But for Cuba, that's even though for the majority of Americans, they might be like, what? But for Floridians, particularly like Cuban Americans, that's still like a big thing. Like, there are people who had to flee Castro's Cuba to come here. They have family members who were in prison camps. Like, generationally speaking, this is not a long time ago. Like, most of those people are still alive. So that is a subject that we can't speak to. But I don't find Karen Bass having been in Cuba disqualifying. Like,
and I kind of wonder if they're doing this on purpose. Like the party themselves to be like, okay, let's throw out the stories about her and see how the public reacts. Like, okay, she cut Scientology ribbon cutting. Which one does? Sorry, that one gets me. I'm like, honey, don't do that. Castro, Kamala's ambitious, Susan Rice, I'm wondering if they're I'm wondering if they say, oh, I don't know. It feels like they're testing to see how stories play. That's my conspiracy or Democratic conspiracy, like, let's see if we take the worst oppo we have, put it out in the press and see what the reaction is.
Yeah.
Kind of doing the dump beforehand. So it's like, okay, Republicans will bring up Castro or yada, 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 that kind of thing.
Yeah. I mean, that would make a lot of sense because, no matter who he picks, eventually they're going to get, criticized for any sort of thing, and also it's like they don't have a clear winner. They don't have someone that the party is so divided now. I mean, you have Kamala, she's super polarizing because her fans are rabid, on Twitter.
I love
the
them.
K-Hive, as they call themselves.
I love them. I'm sorry.
You do? I mean, they are cultish and terrifying. And,
that's what we need.
There's a lot of very good criticism of her record.
There's going to be criticism. Yeah, I mean, I was thinking about Val Demings. And, I think Adrian and I were discussing about, okay, so maybe there's just thinking, okay, this is a police chief. And it's Florida. And I said, what are you going to dig into about her being a police chief, in this climate? Like, I think a case came up, it was police brutality, and she defended the officer. So, I mean, I mean, you know what? At this point, if we're why don't we just throw everything at the wall and make it Hillary? Let's just do it.
Oh, that'll go over really well.
Sorry. I'm joking. No, don't. No,
of course.
No. Not now.
I mean, Biden would probably go for that in a heartbeat. I mean, I wouldn't doubt that at all.
You know what? And the thing with Elizabeth Warren too, like I'm seeing this, and this also came from sort of the Bernie left too. Like I'm seeing all these articles. She was a Republican for 50 years, and like now, and it's because of Wall Street, or there was some conspiracy going around that she became a Democrat because of the Wall Street and the markets, but she did it because she had investments. I mean, like they're gonna go on and on,
Well, I mean, there's tons of legitimate criticism of her too. But my point really being like, just as you demonstrated, all of the people chosen, like it's so fractured that not one is going to be like this big unifier. I mean, Hillary would obviously be a unifier in hate, I think, for a lot of people. But
Sorry, maybe
yeah, it
that's just
doesn't. It's
my
a
like.
real
It's like
problem for Joe Biden.
2020. Just like give us a volcano. I mean, erupt the earth. I
But I don't.
Yeah,
think
I mean,
they can be unifying because I think people
well, we
want
have a monster.
people just want people just want to know, and I think as soon as we know, it's all right. Now it's game time. Let's go.
Yeah, I mean,
well,
my whole thing is, look, whoever had gotten the nomination, and I said this, and I've said this before, I lean more, I'm progressive. If Bernie had gotten this, all in, Elizabeth Warren, all in. If Marianne had won it, I'd be buying healing crystals off her merch shop right now.
yeah.
Like he's Trump is, it's destructive. It's like, it's not 2016 anymore. It's just not. It's not. You're seeing people, it's been going on forever. Now we're at the point where the secret police are out putting people in vans and Bill Barr,
Yeah, but there's always been evil people involved in our government, and
like
to say that
this.
Trump is just the only problem and that it
No,
would
he's
stop
not. No,
everything
no,
to
no,
get
no,
him to go
no.
away. Like when it comes to the federal agents going out, sorry, we have terrible internet, so I don't mean to
Oh,
talk
I'm right
over you
here.
if it happens.
No. Go ahead.
Okay.
Can you hear me? Go ahead.
It's
I was
just
going to
you.
say, I mean, we talk about this all the time. Uh, that obviously the current federal agents happening is above and beyond. Personally, I think it's a step towards something that needs to be stopped. But that was all started and made legal by Bush and Obama. I mean, like that's what happened, and he's using it though, which is extra bad. But I just don't see any solution, especially with Biden. But I mean, it's hard when that's the one issue where I do agree. It feels like we got to get him out of there, but I don't know.
I just don't think we can. I think with that personality and the Republican, I was listening to some podcast, and it was a Trump supporter, but one of those benign ones. Like I wasn't paying attention. I'm an independent. I couldn't vote for her. Let's try something new. It was definitely. I hate to do kind of that basic.
No, you got to
I
tell
thought,
who was there.
and she said I wasn't paying attention. And she was of that mind of she'd voted for Democrats, and all the whole mindset of, well, we'll give this guy a shot. But she had that mindset the Republicans were going to keep him in check.
Which none of them have done, by the way.
Well, I think to the regular average person, even Democrats thought that, well, there'll be checks and balances. And all I'm seeing is they just keep except for Mitt, which you can say whatever you want about him, didn't do anything and I'm not talking about even impeachment, just cut and run amok. They got their tax cuts. They want their federal judges. And that's it. Yeah. They block everything that our wonderful House Democrats have put on.
Well, you're right about that, Lori.
Yeah.
That everyone's letting him just do it. That exactly. They wanted tax cuts, and that's basically what most of especially the financially minded Republicans care about. And yes, the Democrats have put forward some very good things, but they also do this political theater where they're saying that they're opposing Trump, but then they pass a military budget that's gigantic. They go to pass a DHS, although they did recently just pull back their version of the DHS budget.
Yeah.
But they voted, one of the worst things in my mind is the Patriot Act, and they just rubber stamp it forever. It seems very disingenuous to claim that someone is a fascist dictator who's destroying democracy, and yet you continue to give them the power to spy on every American.
I agree with your point, because the danger zone that we got into is we have to get into a headspace now. He gets in, we take back the Senate, we take back which that's what we need. Even if Trump miraculously got reelected, is that Senate means something. But holding the feet to the fire of dismantling stuff like that needs to happen. And it's not going to happen with Trump. It could happen with Biden, but I see our country moving progressively. All of these younger people are getting older. These millennials, Gen Xer, that's me, and the Gen Zs are just like, and they're TikToking. Yeah.
Well, that's a good segue to talk about something we were going to talk about today.
But I just wanted to say to you that
fit of TikTok.
It has to be dismantled. I agree with you. They put like executive order. Like they put all of this stuff was like 9/11 thing happened. And then we slowly said, yeah. And then everybody, because they want to get along or okay, we need to protect the country. And what it's done is it's allowed stuff to roll on. So.
Yes, I agree.
Yeah. TikTok.
So what is the status of TikTok right now?
So,
yeah.
So we do know that it was the TikToking teens who bought up all the tickets in Tulsa. This sounds like some kind of alliteration. The TikToking teens in Tulsa.
Yeah, I love that. I want a T-shirt. TikToking teens in Tulsa.
TikToking teens in Tulsa tickets. It was tremendously terrifying to see almost an empty stadium. Apparently, this really pissed him off. And so now he wants, out of that coronavirus, we're nearing 5 million cases. 3 states have surpassed New York State for numbers of cases, deaths, and all this. He wants to put his finger on TikTok, right? That's what's happening.
Yeah. Who wants to do the first take on why? I don't think it's just Sarah Cooper. Maybe it is. You never know.
Oh yeah, then you got right.
Well,
give us your take, Lori.
I think I know people get pissed when they say I think that it's about China. And it's like, I'm being tough on China. This is what I'm going to do. And it stops the, Sarah Cooper's or the teen, like if somebody goes in and says something in his ear, like do the TikTok thing because China. Because they are not, I honestly think a TikTok, like that's what we'll talk about. That'll go away. Well, now Microsoft is going forward and buying it. So, and he probably gets a cut of it. That's probably it. He's probably like, wait, this is making money. This is making money. If they're going to make fun of me, I better get paid for it. I don't know,
Yeah. Well, as of 2 hours ago, right before we started talking, the new thing is Trump gives Microsoft 45 days to land a TikTok deal. So he's decided to pull back on banning them through executive order, which is very questionable as a thing.
Right.
And now wants Microsoft. He's very all in on the Microsoft buying them deal.
But wait a minute. So how does this then play with like Bill Gates and Bill Gates conspiracies and like?
Oh, he's in on everything. Remember that.
I mean,
well, Adrian, I got an answer for you because there's several angles you can go in on it, and not all. It is all conspiracy because it can't be confirmed.
Right.
And a lot of it's more logical. The first one being very logical is just that Microsoft is not in the social media market. I don't know if you remember years ago they tried. I don't remember what it was called. What was that called? Doesn't matter. But it failed big time. Nobody used it. But here's a big, juicy, the number one social media thing in the world right now is TikTok.
Right.
And the president backs Microsoft purchasing it. Of course, we're throwing antitrust laws out the window, as we always do with tech companies.
Sure.
But so the conspiracy being Bill Gates is using the president's personal vendetta as leverage to get Microsoft in the social media market. So that'd be conspiracy number one.
That's a good one. That's a good one. It is.
I mean, it financially makes sense. I mean, right? Like, what would they have to lose by getting the revenue? I don't know how you make revenue off of it.
But also, you got to remember, Microsoft is probably the only tech brand Trump knows. So he, right? So he's probably like improvising in front of cameras.
No, he knows knows Tim Apple. He knows Tim Apple.
Knows Tim Apple.
But he probably thinks they're all the same because he watched that made-for-TV movie when like Gates and turtleneck guy, Steve Jobs, when they were like hanging out in like the garage together. So I guarantee you, he probably saw the beginning of that and thought it's all the same, and not realizing there's different companies.
Or he thinks Mark Zuckerberg owns Microsoft.
Right? Yeah. I mean, he's like, let's be real. He's like a 74-year-old, like, addled brain. I don't.
Yeah.
I sometimes it convinces me that someone just run. You could walk into the room, Zach, and be like, "Hey, do this thing," and he'd be like, "Okay." Like, you know what? You should go out with underwear on your head. And he'd be like, "Really?" I'd say, "Yeah, the base loves that." Okay.
All right.
Yeah. So there's that sort of financial conspiracy. Then number 2, again, all alleged, is simply this. All of our state intelligence agencies, we know for a fact because of WikiLeaks and just common sense, that they use social media as part of their spying apparatus. It's part of Prism. They can gather up all of your Facebook likes and everything.
Yeah.
So the thing about TikTok is, because it's China and it's owned in China, our CIA, our NSA might not actually have access to their servers. So
no, they don't. Yeah.
So here's a way to bring the next spy machine over to America. As soon as Microsoft gets it, the NSA has access to all of the data. Now, I don't know what the heck you get from kids dancing. I don't know how that stops terror,
Well, you remember Footloose when kids were dancing. I mean,
This is true.
Yeah. That's some satanic.
Exactly. Nobody puts Trump in a corner. But
that's Dirty Dancing.
That's Dirty Dancing. I mixed up my dance movies.
Kevin Bacon.
Yes.
Okay. Patrick Swayze.
But I could see, as they say, the deep state or state security agencies, whatever you want to see it, as them benefiting from a potential move on this too.
They'll definitely benefit. I can't give them that much credit, though. I really think it's just a matter of like, all these teens on TikTok are making fun of me, and well, we could be making money. This thing is really popular. We could. Yes. Well,
I think it's, first of all, these two that Zach has presented in combo make sense.
Right. No, but remember, this was
like
back in March.
Like Jared comes in, it's like, we need more money to grift. And then Gina Haspel calls from the CIA and goes, "Hey, we can get that data." And he's like, okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
But like, I don't know if you guys remember this, but back in March, remember March when the coronavirus was just merely supposed to last 2 weeks. We were supposed to remember when we were supposed to open up by Easter. But anyway, when he gave one of his briefings and he said that Microsoft was going to be making some kind of website, database, whatever, and they were all like, "This is news to us." So
I'm laughing and I'm gonna go out a window. This is horrible.
And then it was like, and now I'm gonna bring up the My Pillow guy and the My Pillow.
Oh my God!
The My Pillow guy.
Remember the My Pillow guy?
He's still around. He's funding all of Fox News right now.
So I guess we'll see what happens. What happens with that? I personally, I barely even know what TikTok is. I mean,
I don't know either.
I just watch it. I'm not getting on there.
No. I know. I guess this is what shows our age, right? Because it's just like, I don't know.
I don't want anyone seeing me dancing, or I don't know. I got nothing to say.
But there's one video that I love. It's this. I don't know her name, but her song is "The Pandemic Isn't Over." Just
I saw that yesterday.
I love it. It's been stuck in my head for like 2 days. And the pandemic isn't over just because you're over it. It's amazing.
Yeah. Well, Lori, you mentioned Jared coming in and doing this deal. In the news today too, we had Jared. Jared is getting investigated by, I guess you could say, his alma mater, Deutsche Bank.
You mean the German bank? Since we're saying China virus, it's the German bank.
Yeah.
Did he say that?
No, I just said that. I'm just going to call it the German bank now. Since we're just going to label, yesterday I had some Italian sauce. So, I'm just going to label everything by country.
By country. Yeah, so I was trying to read this article and research some information on this, and it's like, it feels like another impeachment. It's just like gobbledygook names and confusing. Somebody did something maybe somewhere once. Did you look into it?
I looked at, I with so much going on. Like when Adrian texted me this morning, I was like, oh God, I forgot about that one. I mean, there's so much, there's so many.
Yeah.
I'm like, that bank again. Okay. I don't think it's anything. They're going to go through the courts, and I don't want to see Congress stay away from this. I don't want to waste our time on this. Let it go through the legal process. I don't want to hear about it from Eric Sewell. I don't want to hear about, I don't want to hear a congressperson. Just let the Southern District, New York feds, just let them do it that way. No hearings. I don't want to see it. We're in election year.
Is this the same case? I guess the New York prosecutor seeking Trump's tax returns cites reports of protracted criminal conduct at the Trump organization. Now,
that's a new one. That's
a different thing. Okay.
That broke later.
Okay. So that's
that's about Michael Cohen. That's about his. So first we had Deutsche Bank this morning with fraud. Somebody bought some apartments, money laundering, blah blah blah. The Cush stuff. Typical cushy. And then today I saw breaking news that the Southern District of New York are looking into the Trump company and their insurance, and it's tied in with Michael Cohen and whatever Michael Cohen told him.
Characters.
Yes. So we'll see. I mean, I don't think anything's going to happen unless he leaves office. What will get me, though, is that after they leave, I want everything to be investigated that they did. It doesn't have to be through Congress. We don't have to waste time on that. But I want to find out what's going on with ICE. I want to find out what's going on with I want them to dig into all of this. I don't want it to be like Nixon, oh, okay, let's move on and heal the country. No. No.
Lori, I love that, but that is the biggest wishful thinking in the world.
I know. I am an optimist.
Nobody investigates anybody for anything once they're out. I mean,
I will do it.
You should. Absolutely.
What am I? What's it? Angela Lansbury in politics.
Yes. That's right.
Because I have so many resources. I have so many resources to do that.
Well, you're in Delaware. That's a good start.
There we go. I'll just stand out. I'll be like, investigate it, Joe.
It'll be like, okay.
Lori, go home. No.
I wonder if a president's neighbors have actually ever influenced them to change policy or something.
That's a great question. I don't know.
Rand Paul's neighbor beat the shit out of him. So.
Yeah.
It didn't change anything, did it?
No.
Change a thing.
There's your answer.
He was probably like, that was his libertarian right to do. All libertarians are allowed to fight.
Oh, libertarians. I don't even. Oh.
They're not real. They're I don't believe that they exist.
Are they unicorns? What are they?
It's like the mole people. You hear about them, and you're like, well, they're real.
They'd be, what would they be? Dwarves?
Dwarfs?
I don't know, because I hear a lot of people get labeled, oh, he's not a Republican, he's a libertarian. And I'm like, what is, okay. They say that about Tucker Carlson, Laura. Or or he labels himself that way. I'm like, what does that mean?
I think it's because Republican has become just basically a Trump cultist, essentially. Libertarian now has taken that there should be small government and don't tax me, but pot is cool and I'm okay with gay people.
I get it.
That's essentially,
but I'm still a white nationalist.
But at the same time, it's just kind of what about social programs? Well, you should have thought about that before you no.
Before you lived in the world.
Right. So that's
Yeah.
what libertarians are to me. So it's like you're just Republicans. Get over.
I have to I gotta come up with a definition. I gotta look at it because they always just label that on somebody, and I'm just like, I don't.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it typically means exactly what Adrian said. Like they'd be okay with pot being legalized, but they don't want there to be any roads.
No.
Or the fire
like,
department. Like
or
no
it's
fire
always,
department.
Or it's always like-minded people can agree for the government they want. Who are these like-minded people? Like who, like it all just ends up being like white heterosexual men who are all just like we could.
I mean, I don't. Do you know anyone who's a person of color or Black libertarian? Is there anybody in this sphere?
I'm sure they exist. I'd have to.
If they did,
them.
they'd get them on television immediately because then Tucker Carlson would be like, "See, see, I'm okay." Sorry, not a fan of him at all.
No, that's fine. Neither am I.
Okay, confession time.
Oh my God, you hooked up with him. What?
No. But what was this like back in like the early 2000s? Like he was always like the one where I'd be like, I'd hate fuck you. Like with like the little bow tie and stuff. I was just like, all right. I mean, like, come on. Like, I'm not the type of
So you wanted to hook up with him.
Well, I mean.
Yeah, but to kill him. It was like a
maybe.
Black Widow scenario.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah. And then I was just like, I can't believe I used to want to hate fuck you. And now, yeah.
Wow.
That's the 90s. I mean, the 90s are like that age.
It was a crazy time. I was doing drugs. I don't know. Bush was president. I don't know. Like.
Oh no.
Well, it seems like every episode we get a revelation on who Adrian wants to date. She dated a libertarian.
I'm trying to go back. Then let me go back and see if I have one. Probably not somebody like Tucker Carlson, but someone I thought was attractive that it's like I look at a picture of like a young Herbert Walker Bush, and I was like, he's cute. I'd dance with him at the dance.
He was a tall drink of water, absolutely.
Yeah,
absolutely.
He would write me lovely letters.
Yeah,
absolutely, he would. Well, we are
from the war.
We are at time.
Wow.
Yeah, we just do a half an hour. We try.
Jeez,
Lori, it's been so great having you.
You guys are great. Yeah, everyone, if you're listening to me on this podcast, please listen to this podcast. You guys do a great show. It was a pleasure to be on here.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you. Do you have anything you want to? Do you plug or anything? And it's okay if you don't.
Vote. I don't care if you have to put a hazmat suit on. I don't care if you have to follow the postman. You put it in the mail, you wait until he picks it up, until he gets it to the voting place. Vote. I don't care who you vote for. Just vote.
Second that.
Yes.
That's
it.
All right. Well, until next time, I've been Zach Summerfield.
And I've been Adrian Sexton.
And this has been Left and Correct.